So be together for the right reasons. Sometimes people get married and go, well, I'm getting older, so I should do so now. Okay. Don't do that. Okay. Number 2, have realistic expectations about relationships and romance. It's not always going to be flowers and like it was in the beginning. I will probably tell you that our relationship is at a better place now than it was years ago. So again, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but you got to put in the time for it. So like I said, to some people, their expectations are that they expect their significant other to know what they are thinking. So in a woman's mind, at some point, they're thinking that you're going to surprise them. There's a dozen roses. Here's a new ring. Here's all of these kinds of things. And men are men. They don't think like that in their head. Yeah, maybe the flowers. And I nixed the flowers pretty early in the relationship. And I said, I don't want flowers. I just assume that you give me something with a little bit more meaning. That means you have to think a little bit. But it's also, a nice dinner is nice, but it doesn't have to be elaborate. For me, I think it's so romantic when my husband will put together and help with a new renovation because he knows how much I like that. Or how now when I go away and I come back after either a girls trip or a business trip and he has the house cleaned and the candles lit. I don't care who you are. That is the most romantic thing in the world to me, is knowing that he knew what made me happy when I walked in the door. And don't think that just happened like that and that he was a mind reader. It took a lot of time communicating with him what exactly I liked, what I hated when I came home and what I liked when I come home. Even though that ended up in an argument at some point, it actually gets the point across what we are each thinking because we're not mind readers. Taking me into number 3, the most important factor in a relationship is not communication, which most people, and I would have probably put it as number 1, but it's respect. You need to respect yourself first before you can respect others, okay? But you need to respect your partner. You need to. You cannot go bad-mouthing your partner to everybody and show that you don't have respect for him, because you need to. You sometimes will respect them more than you respect yourself sometimes, because think about the person that you with. I mean, for me, Frank is, he's supportive. He's a hard worker. He will do anything for his family. So I know that when he's out, he probably talks nicer about me to others than he does myself. But that is respect that we have for each other. So we're not trying to take people down. And a lot of times we think about just women, us lifting women up. This actually, you need to lift each other up and having the respect. So sorry, I wrote notes just because I didn't want to go into a little tantrum here, just so that I can keep you guys on, kind of myself on point to showing you really the most important parts of what you can do. And I really hope that this is going to help you rethink this, especially as we're aging. People are like, I can't stand him. I can't stand the man that's sitting over here. Again, I'm hoping that this part is going to make you try a little harder and him to try a little harder to get your relationship back on track, because it's really not too late. So number 4 is talk openly about everything, especially the stuff that hurts. Now, how many of you have gone, oh, I need to tell him that, but you know what? I'm not in the mood to have to listen to this bull crap and we're going to end up in an argument. Years ago, as we were raising our kids, and you guys might relate, that there were times when I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to save him from this experience. Okay, I was going to harbor it myself, try to make it better, and not include him for the fact that I didn't I didn't want to worry him. I was thinking in my mind that it would be better not to and try to do it on my own. And I will tell you right now that that is not a good idea. Share, no matter how difficult the subject is, share. There is even times when we get into a little rut, because a relationship is something that you work on every day. Every day you work on your relationship. You choose to show up and you work on it. So there was times when it was like a lull of, okay, things aren't working anymore. We're getting into some sort of a routine. We're sitting on the couch, we're watching too much TV, we're not communicating, we're not doing stuff. And hence the time that the date night came in. And different activities that we could maybe do together and apart. Okay. So even the conversation about me saying, I don't think we're in a really good spot right now, brought up a conversation of, okay, where is it an easy one to have? No, it's not an easy one when you have to talk about your children's well-being, different hurdles that you go through raising kids. And it's not always a good thing that you might have already given up trying to tell your partner what it is that you need and want. But you need to do it. Your partner does not have ESP. Your partner doesn't know what it is that you're wanting. And if you're going through it, he's going through it at the same time. So you need to have that conversation. Go, I'm not happy. I'm not happy right now. How can we move forward from here? Don't be miserable. Just get it out. It's really great when you can talk openly. And like I said, there are days when I talked openly and we might not have talked for 2 days. So gone is that lovely picture of make sure you make up before you go to sleep, because, if I'm in a fury, that doesn't ever happen. But I will tell you that through each argument, we always try to solve something. That I will promise you. Okay. So number 5, I was really passionate about that one. A health relationship means 2 healthy individuals. It is not your job to make the other person healthy. It's your job to make yourself healthy. You've got to do that. It's nice to do nice things for other people, but as far as a healthy relationship, you guys have to be individual in the fact that you need to take care of yourself. It's what makes me happy needs to come from me. What makes Frank happy needs to come from him. He needs to find that so that we can find this common ground. It's not my job to make him happy, and it's not his job to make me happy. Got that? It's still nice to do nice things for each other because they come across as appreciative. The minute I start to do nice things and they don't become appreciated is the time that I stop doing nice things. But I'm also very vocal where I'm like, hey, I went out of my way to do this for you. At least appreciate it. At least acknowledge it. Okay. But also know your partner. And, sometimes I do things based on how I know what he likes. Okay. So that just comes from a good part in your heart. So know that. I know how to piss him off, and I know how not to piss him off. So that's always a good one. Okay. So that was number 5. Number 6. This is an important one, people. Give each other space. Now, again, remember when we first met, the 2 of us were together for 3 years, almost every day. And we didn't give each other space. We were each other's space. So the hard part is when you start to integrate space in there, it becomes harder. And that happened when we got married. So, we tended to have a little bit more problems at the beginning. But now as I'm going into another phase, and I cannot believe I'm even saying this, at a retirement age, and you look and go, oh my gosh, I can't handle you on weekends some days. How am I going to handle you all the time? Because I've worked from home for so many years that this is kind of my domain. And to think about somebody encroaching on that space, boy, are we going to have problems. So Frank's not going to retire for 4 years. Let's get the plan in motion. All right. So you getting me so far? If you can give me a little heads up, see that you're understanding this. Okay. So what I'm encouraging now is for us to have our own interests. So for me, I like yoga. Frank likes lawn bowling. Perfect. Those do not need to combine for both of us. What do we like that both of us like to do is pickleball. Okay, I like pickleball. We have found a forum for Frank to be able to join a pickleball in the evening. So that is something that we can do together. So we like to go for dinner. So eating is number one. We like to eat. We like to have a nice glass of wine. We enjoy our family immensely. We enjoy our grandchildren. Frank likes to golf. He likes to lawn bowl. So again, I'm encouraging him to continue to put that in its place right now so that he will have lots of interests. So we can go still along our merry way and do things together, but apart as well. So also it gives you something to talk about. So think about it. If you do not have your own interests, or if you are just sitting there day in and day out, listening to the news or talk shows or watching TV, what else do you have to talk about? So having your own interests allows you to bring it back to the table, okay? And have something to talk about when you're going on those date nights. Number 7, you and your partner will grow and change in unexpected ways, so embrace it. So you want change to happen. You do. Now, you've got to grow with the times. You've got to grow with the changes, because I don't want to be the same person I was 40 years ago or 43 years ago. I'm enjoying the person I am now. I'm starting to like myself more. I like the direction of things I'm going. But when you commit to somebody, you don't actually know who you're committing to, because change will happen. So you know who he is today, but you have no idea who the person's going to be 5 years, 10 years. So this is going out to those young people as well. Know that change is always going to happen, and you're always going to come into some kind of altercations, or something is always going to come up, but you got to deal with it, because those are I hate to say arguments, but those are the discussions you're going to have. You're not always going to like change right away. You will not. People don't like change, but you're going to love what change will do for your relationship. So you have to be prepared for the unexpected. And truly ask yourself if you admire this person regardless of the superficial or not superficial details. Because I promise that all of you, those details at some point are going to change. Your appearance is going to change. Your personality is going to change. Sometimes your beliefs. I mean, we pretty much stuck to our beliefs and what we believe. We were very much family orientated people, so that wasn't something that we needed to change. Jealousy, though, of me going off on my own, and that was maybe a big issue that we dealt with very early on. And who you become. Like, remember, you get married, they have a full head of hair. Maybe Frank still does, but maybe they don't have a full head of hair later on, or they've given up on themselves in little ways. You really, really want to work on that, and know that as long as you have your values in there and your respect, you're going to get through this. You really are. But you know, it's going to take its toll on you. Number 8, I think I've mastered this one. Get really good at fighting. And this is what people are afraid of. People rather say nothing than fight. You've got to fight, people. You've got to. Don't insult, though. Like, I mean, I'm not talking going to fight and bring up. Number 1, you never bring up a previous fight, because if you did not address that previous fight and get over that, you should have stopped there until it was over. If you keep reoccurring the same fight over and over again, that's just not a good thing. But you also don't insult the person. Remember, fighting, fair fighting. Don't find insecurities they have and bring those up. Don't ugly fight. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Take a breather if it gets too heated, and revisit it again. Okay, but hate doesn't come in there. It doesn't really, because at the end of the day, as much as you can't stand that person right today, you really will find after a couple of days that you truly do love them, but you got to put the work in. I wish there was a magic wand that I could wave and say every relationship is all, unicorns, buttercups. I don't know. It's not. But the person that evolves through all of the troubles and trials that you go through is somebody you love that much more. The support that you have from that person. I mean, and I'm not going to get mushy, but I love Frank more today than I did 40 years ago. The day the person I've become and the person we become each other's person, that we can finish each other's sentences, but he will still do things to piss me off. Like, you can love him and hate him at the same time. How's that? So solve, as long as each disagreement that you have results in a conclusion and moving forward, is a good thing. Also, number 9, get good at forgiveness. This is a hard one for a lot of people, is to admit that you were wrong. Admit that you were having a bad day. You took it out on the wrong person. And if you are right, don't gloat. I wish Frank was watching this right now, because that's him. He walks around with a permanent smile on his face when he knows he's he's right. So, but get good at forgiveness. Life is too short not to forgive. There's nothing that, forgiveness. Again, this is my journey. I don't know what you're going through. I'm just giving you tips. So I know for me, forgiveness takes a while, but it also doesn't make my heart so heavy. So if there is a chance that you can find some forgiveness, even if you don't say it to them personally, if you have a bad relationship, you need to forgive somewhere along the line, or it will eat you up. And I don't know about you, but we have one life to live, just one. And I think about that sometimes. It's just like, why would I want to spend my life being unhappy? Because even in this time, there are days when I'm sad. And I just know now that those are days I disconnect and I go and take care of me. But forgiveness is something that you need to practice. You really do. And again, we can talk about that more later on if that's ever something you want to. Number 10, the little things that add up to big things. So little things like now that means so much more to me is when Frank sometimes makes a call and says, "What are you doing for lunch? I'm in the area," and we go for pho or something like that. The little things like me knowing that he's up and he's not quite ready to go for work and he's downstairs at god-awful hour of 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I decide to get out of my warm bed to go and have a coffee with him before he leaves. So those are things that we start to appreciate. And guess what? At the beginning, he didn't even know that that's what I was doing until I told him. So now he kind of enjoys it and appreciates it even more. Don't wait until your life you think is simple. Do it now when life is hard. Do those little things that you know that'll make them happy. Frank, ever since the kids were small, he hated to come home from work to a yard full of toys. So I said, can you please at least give me a heads up that you're coming home and we'll have a cleanup time. So those again became communication, things that he expected and things that I expected, so that we again respected each other's wishes. Because after your kids are gone, you think life will be easier. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. The older your kids, the bigger the kids, the bigger the problems. You need to be a united front. You need to have each other. You can do good cop, bad cop for a little bit just to give the other person a break, but do it now. You need to put the investment in your relationship every single day so that you end up here 43 years later, 40 years later, 30 years later, and still love the person that you're with. So remember, you have to like the person. You're going to grow to love them even more if you learn these tips. Number 11, be practical and create relationship rules. So in other words, there's nothing worse than cooking a nice dinner and everybody gets up and leaves the table. And you're sitting there by yourself going, what was the point of this? Why did I do this? Even though a lot of women are out here right now that are home. They're either working from home or they have dedicated their life to take care of their families, which is the hardest job in the world. But the lack of respect a lot of you have because you think this is my job. It is my job that they should just leave the table and I should be left with the dishes and the cleanup and all of that kind of stuff. We've had this discussion before. You work harder than any other person that leaves the house. So yes, you still have to work together for your relationship. Every single person should be bringing their plate to the sink, thanking you for dinner. Can I get you anything? Whatever it is, and I know it sounds like a Cinderella story, or it sounds like it's too good to be true. You know each other's strength. I know Frank. Frank is normally outside, I'm inside, but I also know that Frank loves to vacuum. So he thinks nothing of helping me around the house. So it's a give and take. If he comes home from a long day at work, he has his dinner. Normally I'm like, okay, go spend some time with your dad. I'll do the dishes. Or if Jax is over, it's like, can you go make sure Jax gets in the shower? I'll do the dishes. Or do you want to swap? So again, we're doing this as a partnership. We are not doing this as a one-man show. I like to decorate Frank. Frank is the one that actually takes my creations and brings it to life. Now, a lot of times, again, it's give and take. If you do this, I'll go help you with that. So again, it's a partnership, people. It is not, don't sit in resentment. Please do not sit in resentment. And if you go, my husband never does anything. When was the last time you told him? When was the last time you said, it really hurts me that this is what you're doing? And if you can't start to rebuild every single day, it's really tough. And if you're young and you're watching this, please work on these right from the beginning. So you're not waking up one day 65 and you're ready to throw in the towel, or you decided that this is life and you're not going to want any more from it. Okay, last one. We're getting there, guys. Number 12 is learn to ride the waves. Now, I'm all about the journey. To me, it's always the journey and not so much the destination. There are days when I want to kill Frank, and then there's other days that we have love and laughter. Marriage is truly a roller coaster ride. And if you share all of the good and the bad, you will definitely become a stronger person than you've ever been in your life. So it's like it's an investment. You have to fuel your investment. You have to go all in. I don't, like I said, I don't want to have another partner. I want the partner that I have, even in the bad days. You know what you have and appreciate that person. But I know that, through talks with a lot of women, a lot of this comes up. And I like to deal with these subjects because we have all gone through all of them. And my job here today was just to, hit a little bit on some of those that maybe will make your life just a little bit more enjoyable. And please, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself, that if the person that you are trying to bring along with you is too heavy, then start to live your life. Start to appreciate your life. Start to show up for you. Start to dress for your girlfriends and go out for a girls' night. If you don't think that your husband is going to think that you have left him behind, it might get him to wake up and smell the coffee. Because you are worth it. You need to show up for you. So that is my last message of the day. And again, you are all worth it. Your relationship is worth it. Marriage is an incredible bond. I don't really remember all of the vows that I agreed to, but I do now. Okay? So if you're going to love the person you're with, good, bad, and ugly, you got to. But put yourself back in the picture, people. Go out and enjoy life, and your man will follow. So take care. I hope you enjoyed this segment on relationships. And again, you can watch the repeat. This will be on YouTube. Tag your friends. Bring them into this conversation as well. And I look forward to seeing all of your comments. And again, have an amazing day, and we will talk soon. Take care.